and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're playing the game The Front, and I'm going to show you how to get a follower. Now, I don't know if this is the best way of getting them, but I've been very successful with this strategy, so I'm going to show you what I've been doing. So the first thing you want to make sure that you have is the roast meat. I'm at the fire right now. I was cooking it. I've got 44 of them. That should be plenty. So I'm going to put that down in my inventory. The wild berries, you can get those. It's just my suggestion for you is if you know you're going to want followers, a lot of them, then go to build your base near a food source so that you can make that meat, because the low-end followers, they will only eat the meat or the berries. So it allows you to easily get your followers. So the key with the, we're going to go to a location where I know I can get one. The key to getting them is try to do as little damage to them as possible initially, but you got to get them into a crippling, there's a little debuff that they get that goes above their head. And the other thing you're going to need for this are these simple jammers. That's all I've been using is the simple ones, even though I have access to the better ones. You can make those under, as long as you open the tech tree through the process of leveling. You can make the single. You can see the simple jammers. You're gonna need, I would say, comfortably bring 7 with you, but you're probably not even gonna need that. The reason why I'm using the simpler ones is because I know there's a 6-minute gap between when you need to apply the next one. And so what I did is I just threw this miner right here, even though its durability has been going down over the last week. I put it here so I have something to do for the 6 minutes between the when I need to use the jammer. So there's usually a follower or a baddie right here. I know I got my gun out. I probably should hit him with a jackhammer. Okay, so this guy's 18th level, and he shouldn't be. Yeah, I'm gonna probably hit him with the jack. I don't know. I've not hit one with a bullet before. Okay, there it is right there. So switch to the jammer and throw the jammer. You just put it in your hot bar. You might take a couple of them, depends on, come on, your aim. Oh, really, dude? There it is. So he took 4. I think it's because I didn't take too much hit points off him to start. So now that we're in this phase of getting the follower, you'll see the chaos is at 1400. You can't let the chaos meter get to 0 or he'll just run away. The obedience meter, and if you don't see this screen right off, it's the H. You just highlight over them and hit H. So the obedience needs to get to 100, and the only way you're going to get the obedience to go up is to hit F to get into the inventory and give them the food. Now I'll give this guy the berries too, but this is the Wanderer, and if you look at what the favorite food for these low-end guys are, wild berries, roast meat, or fruit pie. I imagine if I showed up with the fruit pie, this would go quicker, but it's usually 6 minutes in between when I need to throw the next jammer. So it usually takes about 6 minutes real time for the chaos to get to around, I would say 250, 300, and then I just throw another one of these jammers on. Now, it usually at this point takes 3 more jammers. So you're looking at 6, 6, 6, and then after the third jammer, the follower then will get into what they call a subdue state. And because at that point the obedience will be at 100. Now, the third value there, I believe the 97%, the third value is all about how quickly the obedience goes up. So what I was told to do by somebody in my group, okay, you want your hands, you don't want a weapon in your hand, and watch this, that value is at 95%. See, I dropped it. See how I dropped it? And the key is you do it with a punch. And you do it with, so you don't take, okay, so that's about as much as you can want to take off. Because you want to either wait for the guy to heal. You don't want to kill him. You know what I mean? You don't want to kill the Wanderer. So I've got it down to 81% now. So the obedience meter should now flow quicker. And the person who told me about it is it depends on your strategy. You throw the first jammer, you wait for, you give him a couple smacks with your fist, and then stop. And then when you get to your second jammer, you throw that on, and then you give him a couple whacks and you stop. And I guess it's supposed to go quicker, but this is the way I've done it. So right now you can see that the chaos meter is down to 882. And we can't let that get to 0. And just to make sure there's a good buffer, we'll just do it, we'll do it at the 200 mark. But what's nice here is between the 6 minutes, you could do this on a stopwatch. I tell I got a little Alexa here that I tell to put a timer on for 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
See, and Alexa, stop. And then it just tells me I can go do stuff and get back here in time to throw the next jammer. And what I normally do is I just go up onto this mining rig for the 6 minutes. And then I then take the items out of the mining rig when I'm done the process. All right. So we got a couple minutes here. So I'm going to get my jackhammer out. The jackhammer is something you can make once you get a certain level. You can get the jackhammer, and it just takes the gasoline. The gasoline's not hard to make in this game, especially if you've got an automated oil well going. It kind of works out that you can just get the oil right out of the ground and then run it through the process, and then you have your gasoline. It's really easy. And how the gasoline works with this item is that it's like reloading a gun. Because you can use it as a weapon. So as long as you have okay, so it's down to 544. So as long as you've got the gasoline in your inventory, I got 113 of them, then I can just hit the R command. Oh, it looks like the server is going down for maintenance. I don't know. It says 7. I don't know if that's going to PM or AM. The whole process will take us. Okay, so this is not going to affect us what we're doing here. So then I'm going to put the jammer back in my hand here. I was going to let it get down to about 200. And then I'll throw the next jammer on. Because with a jammer, I mean, I haven't done much lore in this game. I haven't gone around to see what the gist is. I'm just going to throw it on him now. So just throw it on him, and then it puts that chaos meter all the way back to 1500, and then it starts to subtract again. The obedience at 20%. So the whole point is they got this collar on them. And I believe this collar controls them in some way by something going on in the world. That's what makes them aggressive when you're dealing with them. But what you're doing is you're jamming the signal to that collar. But in the process that you're jamming it, so they're not being controlled, you're convincing the follower to follow you. And by doing so, well, what you're doing is you're feeding them for free. Because again, what you had to do is give them the food. And basically what's happening is every time the follower eats the food, that's when their obedience meter goes up. So they've got and if you look here, fullness, they got a fullness meter. So when it gets down, you'll see it's at 180, 179. So when it gets down to the appropriate level, which I believe is 30 points, yeah, it's because the food gives 30 fullness. So the follower's not going to eat that until they're at the 30. So that just happened because they're back up to 200. So basically, the timer process on this is, you know, the berries only give 3 fullness, so it might not be the best thing to have that at all in the maybe. I mean, I don't know if the process will go quicker with the berries. I know they eat the berries quick. I mean, they just have the berries, because it only gives 3 fullness. So I don't know if that's going to make, if you did this with berries, that the process would go quicker. It's just that getting berries in this game is not that easy. So it just seems easier to do it with the roast meat. And then, you know, then they just take it. So since I've been chatting with you, the obedience meter is now up to 31%. So we've got a few minutes before we have to come back and hit them with the next one. And you can see that third value is down to 68. So like I was saying, as I was instructed, that if the lower that goes, the quicker the obedience happens. Not know if that's true or not. So what we're gonna do, we'll get the chainsaw out. I'm gonna need some wood anyway, because I'm still trying to make the stuff necessary to make gunpowder. I gotta make a lot of gunpowder. And one of the things is if you burn trees in a fire pit, you get the one part of the component you need. There's 2 parts for making gunpowder, and one half is like some sort of ash you get out of the fire pit. So I just burn the wood in the fire pit all the time. Now, do note that your furnace and your fire pit can both be fueled by the fiber. This thing called fiber, you can get your fire pit and the furnace that you smelt stuff in. You can just use fiber if you want, but the problem with that is you don't get the ash that you need. So if you use wood, then you get the ash, and that ash allows you, that's one half of the components needed to make gunpowder. Plus that ash is also used for another item, I think it's called graphite or something like that, in one of the benches. So you're gonna need a lot of that ash. So every time I go out to Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Kept a timer when I had asked it. Let's just take a look at him and see where we're at with this. Okay, at 600. Yeah, I like the chainsaw and the jackhammer, because you just get so much of the materials. It makes so. I mean, if I were to tell you the best thing you can do in this game is a level as quick as possible, and actually, I'm not really sure. I'll have to do some numbers on what's the best way to level in this game, because I just kind of naturally leveled. But once I unlocked the chainsaw and the jackhammer, oh my goodness, this game became so easy mode, because you get so much material so quickly. All right, we'll put the jammer in. Maybe the bigger jammer, which I can make, would give more chaos. I'm not really sure. I haven't used it yet. I did watch a quick YouTube video on it, and I wasn't paying much attention, other than the fact that there are 2 kinds of jammers, a simple one and a bigger, beefier one, and I just been using the simpler one. So now we're at 41% obedience. And this is what, my second one I'll be giving this. So it looks like it might take 4 of these. I guess if I were to let the first one get down to 200. Yeah, because that's part of it too, is if you let the meter, I mean, I don't know how low you can go with that chaos meter. So I've always given it kind of a buffer. I haven't waited to like the 100 mark. But I'm not sure if the thing just will turn hostile when it hits 0, or when or it has a percentage kind of thing when it gets to a lower status. So we're at 45%. So yeah, because I didn't wait for the first one to get down to 200, we might have to use another jammer. But the jammers are not that hard to make. They're not that. The ingredients to make those is not that much. so that I have to pull off an extra one. Because usually at this point we're at the 50% mark. All right. All right, so there we go. We reset it. So we got another 6 minutes that we have to just kind of run around and do some stuff. Now this, the simple jammer, it's the tape is easy to make. You make that in a bench using the plant mucus. It's the plant mucus and I think fiber. The two things that you need is fiber and plant mucus, and then you can make the tape. The iron ingots, obviously you get those from smelting those. And then the ether shards, I've been getting mine. I've been farming them through the drop system in the game, where you can get supplies drop shipped to you, and then there's a bunch of mobs that attack you. That's where I've been farming those. I mean, that's just anytime I need those, I just run the drop ship. All right, so here we are. We got obviously 5 minutes where we can run around and get some more materials. I do like this area where this guy is, especially when I need some stone and some iron, because there's a few of those nodes here. One of the things I did notice in this game is the dead people. See, this guy is a dead guy right here. You can see the names, Wellship and Ice Cold. They just are there. I mean, every once in a while, it's, this is a PvE server. There's not a lot of people that play on this server. I think at the most I've seen is 8 people on this server. But when I do find the people, they're just in that dead state. Like they're just in the game, just kind of like just here in a dead state. And this ice cold guy over here is on the ground. See there, and obviously this person put some time in. They're in the wood padding, but that's an actual live player. But they're in the dead state, just laying on the ground. I see it a lot. I really do on this server, and I'm not really sure what the thing is maybe the person went AFK and died of starvation, and the game just respawned them there, and the person, I don't understand why somebody would just leave their computer gone. But I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what it is they walked away from their computer, they left it gone, person died somehow, and the system respawned them, and that's where they respawn them, is right there in that spot. That would make sense because there's 2 of them sitting there really next to each other. Yeah, this is, now that I got the jackhammer sitting in the miner that I've got up there, the manual miner, doesn't make sense because of all the nodes that are around here. I can just simply get the nodes myself. Because the miner, if I needed oil, I guess the miner would make sense too if I needed some oil. But that manual miner is like an early game thing. It's handy to get you oil, and it's handy to get you, raw ores if you're just stepping away for a little while, or if you just need to just sit around for 6 minutes waiting for this process. But now because I've got these Uber gathering thing. There's another dead person right there, Jack. See, just laying there. All right, we'll go back to the follower, see where we're at with that. Oh, my inventory is completely full right now. I mean, it fills quick. It really does when you're using these tools. Now, if you don't want to waste gas, I guess or if you don't want to listen to the thing, just put something else in your hand. Yeah, that stutter step, I've gotten used to it, but it's probably driving you guys all nuts. You see that I stutter step every once in a while? I don't know what's going on. I've tried changing every game setting I know in this game. I've got the most updated driver. I don't have any video games that give me this kind of stutter step when I play them. My frame rates are at 60 frame rates per second on this with this, so I'm not really sure, why I get it. I get it a lot, or when I'm got a lot of things around me, like bushes and trees around me. I get it a lot when I'm around a buildings in this game, but I don't know how to resolve it. All right, so we're at 65% of the obedience. So this takes some time, and and this wanderer has not gotten any hit point gain, so I don't want to smack him around anymore. So we're just gonna have to play it out here. So we've got a couple hundred more points to go before we'll slap the next jammer on. And I guess if you don't mind wasting jammers, you can just throw jammer after I could have just thrown the jammer. It just if you want to try to be as efficient with the process and use as little jammers as possible, I think the 200 mark is the way to go. Maybe the 10 mark is the best way to go. I don't know. I've just never chanced it. You know what I mean? To allow it to get that low, because I have had them turn on me. And then once they go in a hostile state, you have to start the process all over again. So if this follower's chaos got to a particular point where it aggroes, once that happens, this entire process resets and you got to start it all over again. That's the crazy thing about it. So you don't really want to mess this up. You want to kind of be Johnny on the spot and not allow the chaos to get to a point where the follower turns. Because once they aggro, the whole process starts over, and and you've wasted all those jammers, you wasted all that food. So now they back up to the 1400. We're at 72. So it shouldn't take much longer. So why don't we go up here? What's nice about the location that I chose for my base is it had an infinite water source, a river behind my base, plus the food locations kind of infinite too when it comes to the meat. And when you see these little berms in the game, this kind of berm, it means it's a den. And this one's a rabbit den. So it's got a bunch of rabbits here. So I can just take my trusty gun here and just shoot them. And what I like to do is use a chainsaw because I need the meat more than anything. And I just cut them up with a chainsaw. Oh, I guess I can't pick up meat. Let's just let's just drop some rotten vegetables. Now I should be able to do it. There we go. Yeah, the chainsaw really gives you a lot of meat. And with this node here, the rabbits kind of don't run away because they're stuck in the stupid, in the wall. So you can just kill them here. So right now I've got 79, 80, 90. And if you want hide from these things, use the knife. Like use a skinning knife. So the skinning knife will give you the hides. Well, I'm gonna have to drop another item because I'm over. I'm going to drop. Oh boy, what can I drop? I still want to drop the eggs. Kind of gonna need those later on. It's really hard to make a decision because everything. Clay. I got plenty of clay. Whoop. Just got to hit D on that. And the reason why I'm doing that is so I can pick up this hide. All right. Yeah, it's kind of gimping on me. Well, screw it. I'll get it now. Whoop. It's stupid things gimping me. I can't hit them. Oh, there it goes. So now I'm getting hide and meat, but I'm getting more hide than I get meat. So if you do it with the knife, you're going to get more hides. And if you do it now before the chainsaw, I was just using the axe. So the simple axe or the iron axe or whatever axe you use to cut your trees down, that is what you do to get the most meat. And you're going to need the meat. I mean, that's the thing is because you're always going to eat, and your followers are always going to need them when you're utilizing them in game. Because once you get the follower, you've then got to continue feeding it, or it will starve to death. So you need the meat, and that's why I wanted to be near a meat source, so that I could always make sure my followers were fed. So now this follower is at, I mean, we're at 86%, so the process is pretty much almost done. And then what we'll do is we'll take the follower. Now, the follower is going to have two states of existence with you. It's either going to be outside where you can see it, and you only can have one follower outside with you. And then there's a second state that the follower has where you can put them in a workbench. And while they are in the workbench, you got to feed them and activate them, because you got to activate them. But what it does is whatever processes happens in the workbench, the follower gets experience for. And they're not actually, the follower's not actually enhancing the bench. The follower's not actually doing anything for you at the bench. The bench is just there as the mechanism to level the follower. So if you've got benches that you know you're doing a lot of stuff, a lot of processing, then that's the bench you want to put your follower in, because then the follower gets up there in hit points. My thoughts is eventually there's going to be more to do with these followers, but once they reach the maximum level, you take them out of the bench, and then you utilize them as a bodyguard, or you utilize them for some sort of reason, to have them around with you. But once they die, if they die in the, if they were outside in the world, if they're in the outside state like this guy is, and he dies, he's gone forever. He's dead. And then you just pull another follower out of the workbench if you need a bodyguard to go run around with you. I mean, that's my thoughts of it, because I don't really see any other use for the follower at this time. That's so we're at 97%. So this last few percentage went quicker because that third value has dropped so much to 49%. So we might not need to throw another jammer, but I'm prepared to do it if the 97% doesn't get past the or if it doesn't go past 97% in the next 340. But yeah, I'm thinking that maybe this game is so new. It's only been out, a month and a half? So maybe they have other plans for the followers, but for what I understand is I just like to been jamming them in my workbenches just to level them in case there's something. Okay, so now he's in the subdue state. While they're in this state, you've got 30 minutes to subdue them. And you just hold the F button down, click on subdue, and there they are. So now this guy will defend me. Now, as a follower, you can give them commands using the Z as in zebra. You can tell them to follow you. You can tell them to stay in a position. You can tell them to hold. You can give them different battle commands. You can give them combat tactics. You can give them what priority target you want them to do. I mean, you can give them all sorts of commands here to battle whatever you want. This guy, every time you take a follower over, they default to first level. So they're kind of useless to you. So if I do an F on him, I can see the inventory. I'm going to pull those. Oh, my inventory is full. Let me see here. What else can I drop that I don't really need? Well, I don't need this iron knife. I don't even know why I still have that in my inventory. So I'm going to pull the roasted meat back to me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit F again. And I'm going to recall follower. Oh, I can't recall him because my inventory's full. Let me just find one more thing that I can. I mean, I probably should have gone out. Should have ran. I should have not. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the fiber because that is. I keep on trying to want to drag that. So go here, recall the follower, and what happens is the follower becomes an icon in your inventory. And then you can drag him into a bench. I could have just ran back to the base with him running behind me. But I'm going to use him for my bench. And I am so sorry for that stutter step. I know you're probably thinking, oh, this YouTuber is, doing crap videos because he's got a potato computer. Well, that's not the case. I don't have a potato computer. I just don't know why that stutter step exists. I've gotten used to it. It's just that it's still happening at 60 frame rates, and I've tried lowering all my options, my video options to the lowest setting, and it has not fixed it. So I went back up to ultra. Okay, so the bench right now, I've got a follower in this bench. See, the consumable bar is empty, so I've got to put logs in here, or I can put fiber. So I'll put fiber in there, I'll reactivate the furnace. So the follower that I've got in the furnace is at 25th level. And those levels were gotten while this guy's been processing or been in the bench processing my stuff. So what I like to do is I like to move the stone to this workbench, because it's the easiest way for me to level that guy is to throw him stone and then have him go to this advanced refinement, go to maximum. So he's going to do it 467 times and hit craft. That's the easiest way for me to level this guy, is to have him do this. Plus this refinement stuff gives me the raw materials. It's an RNG on giving me materials. Plus I've got the sand, and I get this. I'm going to show you a place where I do the sand. So I've got the sand that I also can craft into the silicon. So this guy's going to do 462 of the refining and then the sand. And what I did is I put 2 fish nets in the water around the corner, and those are collecting the sand for me. And that sand, again, I'm really using it to do as a level, to level my characters. Now, silicone is used, so you need the sand for electrical parts, because you need to make the silicone, and the silicone is used for stuff, so the sand is useful. So I'm just trying to think about, okay, so I think the best bench I'm going to want to put my follower in is this one. So I'm going to put a follower in this bench. I just dragged him over to the bar. Make sure you hit activate. Now it's activated. Now the follower is going to want to consume food. So just make sure you have food in this bar while they're activated. And then this wanderer will get experience now when I use this workbench. So I go here. This is what I was saying before, is I should take the fiber out. If you only burn wood, see, it was burning fiber as the priority, and I wasn't getting the carbon powder. You're only going to get the carbon powder with the wood. You won't get it by burning the fiber. But here is where I want to cook all that meat so I just click on roasted meat, and I'm going to get 75 from the rabbits that I had killed. So I've got 3 followers currently. I've got this one that's in the furnace here. I've got another one here because I've been making a lot of ammo that is at 3rd level. This is my weapons rack. And then I just put the one that we just captured into this one, and their 1st level. What can I make here? Let me sort. Now, the ingredient that you need, this salt, you're going to need a lot of that. And how you get that is through the process that we're doing here. Is when you do the advanced refinement, you get an RNG to get the salt. And as you can see, I got it here. I got 6 of them or 5 of them already. So when I bring that to my inventory and then go over to here and bring it over to here, I can now crunch that up. And the reason why I need to crunch a bunch of that up is because it's used to make the gunpowder. So I need to go get the carbon powder here out of, I should be burning better. Let me see if this one's got some in there. No, so I got to go and make a log run so that these guys can burn just to get that carbon powder. So once you bring the salt over and the carbon powder, then that opens up gunpowder. And that's what my next big thing is going to get a lot of gunpowder so that I can start making rounds for some defensive structures I want to build around here. But that's really it, folks. I mean, I know this is a long video on the followers, and I